Oh, welcome back to another episode of HBO Max. I should learn to enunciate more. I'm your host, Makenna. Join me, as always, my co-host, Brandon. How are you today, Brandon?
I'm really excited to hear what you thought about this movie, Makenna.
Oh, I have thoughts.
Yeah?
I had to collect them over the last. I watched it last night, so over the last 24 hours, I had to collect my thoughts and feelings, and they're there. They're certainly there.
Okay, can't wait.
Yes, we watched American Psycho to round out Film Bro Month, our first theme month. We are an official podcast now. So
Yeah.
very exciting. And it's a nice segue into our next theme month of October, spooky month, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. We'll talk about at the end of the episode.
Yes, we'll pimp that later. But let's get into the facts and figures, because I want to tell you my thoughts.
Okay. Facts and figures time. Let's go.
All right. American Psycho was released April 14th, 2000. Budget $7 million. Box office $34.3 million. There was no Oscar or BAFTA nominations for this movie. There was maybe 14 nominations, but from smaller organizations. Which I found interesting. I didn't, because usually on the Wikipedia there's a little blurb about it was nominated for this, that, and the other, and then there's an accolades section. Nothing on the Wikipedia page. I had to go to the IMDb section.
Yeah, I guess this movie was probably just one, it's a horror movie, and horror movies just, I mean, it's very loosely a horror movie.
Yeah.
We'll get. I want to hear what your thoughts about it, but it barely qualifies as a horror movie for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so those never get nominations except for Silence of the Lambs.
Mm-hmm.
But I could definitely see this getting a best adapted screenplay, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with the novel at all.
I am now.
The novel's fucking wild. I haven't read it, but I've heard from people that one guy I heard said it was pretty much the only book he's ever had to set down while reading and be okay, we're gonna take a break. So the fact that they were able to actually turn that book, which is a rambling mess, into a movie that
Mm-hmm.
is a movie, it probably deserved at least a nomination for that.
Yeah. Well, it was even, I have it at some point in my notes that it was the dialogue is almost word for word from the book as well.
Yeah.
But there was a sequel, a direct-to-video sequel with Mila Kunis in 2002. Apparently she didn't know that it was a sequel to American Psycho. She thought it was something else, and then they edited it in a way for it to be a sequel.
I believe it was originally in production it was supposed to be a different movie, and then it just kind of got turned into American Psycho 2, from what I understand.
Yeah. Have you read the synopsis or seen the sequel to American Psycho 2?
I remember seeing it and being just fucking baffled by what it was. I've read the synopsis before, but I haven't in so long I can't remember it at all.
I had to reread it a few times because first I just skimmed it, and then I had to be hold on, I need to read this, actually read this, and then essentially it's a girl who saw Bateman kill her babysitter growing up, and that triggered something in her mind to study criminology and be on track to be an FBI agent, but also learn about serial killers to become a serial killer. And she would kill people ahead of her in her class to get a higher rank. And then it seemed maybe halfway through the movie, she is revealed to have stolen the identity of someone she already killed. So the entire time, her name is not actually her name. And then, yeah, it's very...
So I just I just have the Wikipedia plot summary pulled up in front of me, and it appears that in the beginning of the movie, she kills Patrick Bateman.
Oh, yes. The Bateman kills her babysitter. She kills Bateman with like an ice pick or something, and that triggers something in her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like right off the bat, they're really like, fuck the source material. That's great. That's a good way to start off your movie.
Oh yeah, that's tried and true, you know. And there was also another sequel, well, television series sequel in production. It was announced in 2013 with FX and Lionsgate. They started developing it, but it's either, as of like last year, it's either canceled or in development hell. So
I haven't heard about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, there wasn't too much information I could find on it. So who knows?
What, of all the movies to like decide to try to make more of?
Yeah, is there a book?
Okay. So it looks like the series would just be like an American Psycho, not like a continuation.
It's not a continuation.
But like, why would you make a TV show out of this?
Yeah.
Like the whole point is that there isn't a plot.
Yeah.
None of the characters are characters. You're not supposed to know anything about them. Why would you think that would make a good TV show?
Money, Brandon. Yeah, that was bizarre. Both of those, yeah. Christian Bale, method actor.
Yeah.
Let me tell you some things that he did. He kept images of 1980s figures in his trailer, like David Bowie and Donald Trump. He didn't socialize. He worked out for hours every day. He spoke in an American accent, to the point where at the rap party, he spoke in his regular English accent, and people thought he was just preparing for another role. He never broke character, and this is a fun tidbit. He apparently could control his sweat glands.
What?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Apparently, it said that like in the scene with the business cards, they did a few different shots, and like he could just control his sweat glands.
He can just make himself sweat when he needs to.
Yeah, I guess.
Jesus Christ. I do know that he went on like a he and Mary Herron, the director, like went to get dinner together where he was in character as Patrick Bateman the entire time, which she said was like really unsettling.
Oh God, that'd be terrifying. Oh no.
Well, no, because like if you think about it, like the Patrick Bateman like character to just be around him, he's just fucking weird.
He is.
Like he talks really stilted and weird, and like he talks about like shitty music like really in depth and stuff.
I would hate that. It would. No, I don't like that. A few different people were considered for the role. Patrick Bateman, including Ewan McGregor, Robert Sean Leonard, which I only include that because he plays my favorite character in House. And at one point, Leonardo DiCaprio was going to be Bateman with Oliver Stone directing. There was like a bunch of...
Yeah, that was going to be like
script.
a completely different movie because essentially like the studio just like while making the movie decided like, well, no, let's try to go make a different movie.
Yeah.
And then everybody involved was like, well, that's definitely not going to work. So we're just going to keep doing our thing until they give up.
Yeah. And then, because like Mary Herron was supposed to direct originally, and then she left because of, like you said, they were just not doing.
She basically said she wouldn't do the movie without Christian Bale.
Yeah.
So she walked. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Leonardo DiCaprio and Oliver Stone came on. Then they left, and then she came back, and now here we are.
Well, even between then, they were trying to get other actors, and like Christian Bale was like calling other actors and asking them not to take the role because he wanted to do it so badly.
Can't. Yeah, that's fair. the Kimball scenes. William Dafoe shot these scenes 3 different times. Once where he was suspicious of Bateman, once where he had no clue, and once where he's undecided. And they would like edit different
Yeah, it's
versions
all
of those.
three put
Yeah.
together, so
Yeah.
you never know what's going on.
No, you don't. And my final fact and figure, Bateman's moonwalk and like dancing when he's about to kill Paul Allen was improvised. Which
So like the weird exaggerated motions he's doing, like the one that's like absolutely become a meme where he does the
yes, I rewatched it so many times. It's like, oh, that's smooth.
He's fucking crushing it in this movie, just on all cylinders, just firing off, man. He's so fucking good in this movie.
He is. Which pains me to say that I did not like this movie.
You didn't like it? It's pretty weird, huh?
It is. It's so bizarre.
I will say I didn't watch this movie in a very long time. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I think like the way I was thinking about it, because I also watched it last night, and I thought about it a lot today. I think the movie is a lot more interesting than it is good.
Yes.
And I think that that's fine. I think that's a fine thing for a film to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I went in because the book has been... Okay, I didn't really know what American Psycho is about. I knew it was a book, I knew it was a movie. So I've had the book on my reading list for a long time, and thank God I did not read it when I originally...
Yeah, you told me that. I was really surprised to hear that because it does not seem like the kind of book you would enjoy at all.
No, I've been considering taking it off just from...
I would.
Reading.
I would. It's like, it's not a very good book.
Right. Yeah. It's, yeah, so I guess I dodged a bullet there. But I went in, and it's just one of those movies, it's all over the internet. I've seen clips of it. I've seen quotes of it. So I had high expectations because everyone apparently likes this movie. I think that might be why I didn't. I don't know.
Like, it's a lot of stuff.
It is.
It's a whole lot of stuff in this movie. Mm-hmm. It was way funnier than I remembered it being. Yeah. Like, there were parts in this movie where I like really laughed out loud. It's so funny.
Well, yeah, the Paul Allen scene in particular, him talking, was like, oh, is that a raincoat? Yes, it is. Like, I feel like it's different inflections on things. That one was funny to me, and then he just kills Jared Leto. But you know, it'd be like that. Yeah. Reese Witherspoon's in it, which I didn't know.
Yeah, I couldn't really figure out why she's in it.
I don't know the relationships anybody has with anybody. There were so many names being thrown about, especially like when he was explaining who was who. Just like with 4 people, I'm like, I'm out. Some people are engaged, but they're also sleeping with other people, and there's affairs. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, well, so that's like the intention, right?
Right.
Is that like everybody in this movie is like 100% like you would swap them out for anybody. Like nobody can remember, like nobody remembers who Patrick is. Like he's completely unrecognizable. Multiple people mistake Paul Allen as a different person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's
which like
weird.
Even into the business cards, like to your point, like everybody is everybody at the point. Which sidebar, those are shitty business cards, but whatever. I don't
it's
like
the 80s. It's the 80s.
It's the 80s.
But it's the business card scene is like, it's kind of genius the way it's like Like they're all the same business card.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same, but they're obsessing over these like minute details. And when he sees Paul Allen's card, which is almost exactly identical to his card, he's just like completely blown away by it.
It's just, So like, when do we know when he starts to kill people? Like, what is the time period between Paul Allen and when he starts to murder people? Like,
So
is this a new thing, or like
okay.
what?
So he's probably like when he's doing his confession, he confesses to killing people we haven't seen him killing them.
Right, yeah.
So he's been killing people for a while. If he's killing them at all.
That's the other part. That's the other thing. Is this real? What is happening?
So it's done a lot. I think, like, from what I've read, it's done better in the book, where the book from the very beginning lets you know that, like, everything that you're reading might just be completely false. Like, none of it. It's very possible that none of it's real. This, it really doesn't start doing that until the end of the movie and really fucks with you.
Yeah, that's when I started questioning. Like, right from the kitten, where they just said feed the stray kitten. It's like,
yeah,
oh, no,
like he's really, like, and then, like, he shoots the police car and it blows up.
Yeah, he looks at the guy.
Yeah, even he's like, what the fuck is going on? And then obviously, yeah, with the apartment when he goes in and it's a totally clean apartment. You're not supposed to be able to tell if it's actually happening or not. I think that the movie doesn't do a good enough job of being like it should be more like, instead of just being a big blow off thing at the end where it leaves you all confused and stuff. It should be a lot muddier about like to your point, like, the movie makes it seem like it's this descent that Patrick is going through. Like, he's going crazier and crazier throughout the movie. I don't think that's a good thing that they did. I think it should have just been throughout the entire movie, the dude's a fucking just totally out of his mind.
Right. Yeah. This head hurt. I have time to American Psycho. I'm gonna start a new segment on this show.
Okay.
Where so the last time I did Time to Plane for The Aviator. This one is Time to American Psycho. So at 22 minutes and 7 seconds, he kills the first person on screen. And that is Time to American Psycho. So this segment was where I do time to title of the movie.
Okay, I like it.
Is that it's a mini production meeting.
I was surprised how long it took to have him kill people, because it really starts off like he doesn't, like, he talks about how he like mentions that he kills people right at the very beginning of the movie, where he's doing his whole big talk around speech about what he does in the morning, his morning routine.
Yeah.
Which
bizarre. Apparently also Christian Bale did that every morning as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got nice skin, so I can't blame him, you know? Also, apparently 40% of the movie is Christian Bale either shirtless, naked, or in his underwear, or something like that. Which, you know.
Believe it.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I believe it as well. Here's... yeah, I just wrote Christian Bale butt in my notes.
Yeah.
That was a nice way to start the movie. Also, dude kills people and he has a white apartment. He shouldn't. That's blood stains.
Well, he lays down newspapers, Makenna. He covers all the furniture.
The newspaper is not gonna hold with all of that blood. It will stain that white carpet.
Is it carpet in there?
I thought it was. Maybe it wasn't.
Maybe it was. I wasn't paying attention to the floors.
I wasn't either. I was too occupied with the white walls, the white couches, the white kitchen, the white sheets. Like, even he goes to the dry cleaners and they can't get the blood out. Like, that should have been his first sign. Dude, don't get white sheets. Not smart if you're going to be a serial killer in your hobby and downtime.
But he doesn't have a personality, Makenna, so everything has to just be flat white.
Well, that is not very cost effective then. If he's, well,
No, it's not.
He's... What is his... Oh, vice president. Duh. Never mind. Never mind.
Yes.
I know it. What... How has he not been caught before then?
Okay. So... There's a thing, the way that I watch movies, and some people hate watching movies this way, which is that, like, the literal things happening in the movie shouldn't be, like, thought of so detailed as much as it is, like, why they're in the movie. He hasn't been caught because, like, nobody cares, and, like when he's carrying out the Paul Allen's body in the bag, like, all they care about is that, like, it's a fancy bag that he's carrying it in. They want to know where he got the bag. Like, the world, and that's what he's, like, in his little, like, monologue to himself at the end of the movie. That's what the world is constructed in a way to where he can never get caught because just nobody cares. Mm-hmm. And yet it's there's a way that you can watch this movie where you view Patrick Bateman as, like, the embodiment of, like, the height of 80s capitalism and the way that capitalism murders people and we don't do anything about it. You know? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense, especially because, like, with that bag scene when he's dragging the body out through the lobby, there's a trail of blood. The guard doesn't notice. And, like, now that you say, like, different little things are making sense. Like, that checks out.
Yeah.
Wow, I lost where I was on my notes. Oh, there's a Jeopardy! He watches Jeopardy!
That Jeopardy?
It was Jeopardy.
I heard him, he's sitting in his office, right? And he turns on the TV.
Yeah, it was the May 19th, 1986 episode.
There you go.
And then there are some discrepancies that I'm going to talk about right now. So, first off, it says it was a $600 clue. It was a $200 clue. The wording is not exact, but it is the closest thing that I could find on the J Archive. And it also says on the J Archive, clip was used in American Psycho episode.
So they didn't
movie
use a clip from the show? They recorded their own version of Jeopardy?
It must have, like, the wording is very, it's almost word for word. There's just, like, a few different words. Like, it's in its essence, it is the same clue. It is the same, well, they don't say the answer, but it's not, but it is. I don't know. It's weird.
Is there a chance that, like, J Archive put a different answer in than what, like, Trebek said?
Maybe. But also, another discrepancy, the movie, it doesn't line up with the movie timeline either. Because it lines up.
Yeah, you said that was
year.
1989, right?
1986, but it was in May.
Okay.
But this movie takes place the end of 86, beginning of 87. So, who knows? Maybe it was a rerun. Maybe it was the daytime Jeopardy. I mean, it still doesn't make sense the clue.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that was confused me and why I didn't think it was Jeopardy, because he's watching it in the middle of the day.
Yeah, we got that daytime Jeopardy. Although, I don't think that started in 86.
Yeah, I was going to say, the 80s, were they doing...
I don't think they were doing daytime
reruns?
Yet. No, because they would have only had, like, maybe two years of episodes. Oh, I don't know. Gotta get to the bottom of this, though. Jeopardy, if you're listening, let us know. I got connections. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you get that figured out.
Yeah. Oh! This is movie stuff.
Okay.
Did you hear about the actress that got stabbed the other day? She was in Legally Blonde in this movie. I don't have her name written down. Reese
Witherspoon.
No, it was with a knife.
I hate you so much.
I've been okay. I was like, oh my god, I already said her name earlier, halfway when I was in the middle of that. I've wanted to tell you that joke, I think, for over a year. And when I saw her name come up, I was like, oh, now's my chance. I even wrote Witherspoon joke in my notes.
Oh my god.
It's one of my favorite jokes. So good. It's so good. It's one of my favorites. Here it is on the record.
What terrible content to put in this podcast.
In the middle of talking about American Psycho. We only give entertaining content here at HBO Max. Tell me more about your thoughts with this movie.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to like say about this movie that hasn't already been talked about like a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you look up any YouTube review of American Psycho, it's all the same stuff. I meant to go read some stuff, try to find some good articles written about this movie, but I got home from work super late, so I didn't have time before the podcast. But I'm interested in so the film's directed by Mary Herron, and it was written by Guinevere Turner, who's like pretty well known like feminist filmmaker and film critic. And I know that they talked about trying to make this a more like feminist lens from the book to the movie. And I just don't feel like I got any of that. So I would really like to like read some material about like what the feminist viewpoints in this movie. This movie, it does make a good point about I guess you could boil it down to like toxic masculinity type things, in the way that like Patrick is so obsessed with like, you know, his looks and fitting in, and he's used all those things as a substitute for having a personality. And like he's done all the things that you're supposed to do, right? He went to a fancy school and he got a fancy job and he got a nice apartment and stuff, and none of it made him happy. Like he never figured out how to be a person. I think that that's really interesting. I think that the way like, and he's so like desperate to try to like find meaning in extremely vapid stuff, like memorizing New Yorker reviews of restaurants and giving extremely detailed analysis of extremely vapid pop music. And also like I need to rewatch it, because the way I heard it, he's not even like analyzing it correctly. Like he describes Hip to Be Square as a song that reinforces the importance of conformity, which is like not what the song's a parody of that. And he just listens to it and just hears him talking about all this stuff. And he's like, yes, this is very good.
Do you think I don't know how I'm going to phrase this question. Do you think he, with the music stuff, why do you think he analyzes music? Or, like, why he is so into music as he is? Like, as
I think the reason that they chose for him to dive deep into like the pop music stuff is because it's a very easy way to show like, because every time he mentions one of the like the artists that he talks about, he always brings up like the commercial value of the work. Like he's like, well, their best album is the one that sold the most. It's the one that most people like, and it's the one that's the most commercial. And like he talks about like he didn't like Genesis until Phil Collins was the frontman of Genesis and they became a commercial pop band. I think it's just the easiest way to show that like he's like he can't even comprehend art outside of it being like the most like what he says to Reese Witherspoon at the beginning of the movie where she asks why he has the job if he hates it so much is because he wants to fit in. He hears that like everybody's listening to Huey Lewis in the News. Why? Well, it must be that it's very, very good. That's the only reason people like things is because they're very, very good and they're supposed to fulfill you. So I have to figure out what the deep thing is about Huey Lewis in the News that everybody likes.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Christian Bale has described Patrick Bateman as like an alien who got dropped on Earth during the 1980s, and he is just trying to absorb human behavior in the 80s, and that's exactly what's going on when he talks about the fucking music. It's just like you showed an alien. He's like, okay, well, is like the best music the stuff that everybody listens to? It's like, no, generally it's like the worst stuff.
Exactly. How do you think he was as a child?
That is tough because essentially this movie, the characters in this movie like can't exist before or after the start of this movie. Like the world can't continue to go on or before this movie. Like Patrick Bateman as a child, just like that can't be a thing. You can't do that. Like that couldn't like. Somebody has probably thought about trying to make that a movie, and that's such a bad idea to even try to imagine what he would be like as a child.
I just got done watching American Crime Story. The second season is the murder of Gianni Versace, and it focuses a lot on Andrew Cunanan and like him. There's like a whole episode about him growing up and the influence and everything. So now I'm starting to think about like, I wonder what his upbringing would have been like, and what went off in his brain.
One thing Bret Easton Ellis, the writer of the novel, has said is that like it was important to him to not try to like give any justification for why Patrick is the way he is, because he's meant to be the embodiment of yuppie culture in a person.
Right.
Like, he was like, he's not supposed to be a person who like became a person or anything. He is just like this is like an alien who just got dropped into the world during this time period and is adapting to the way the world is.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I'm not, like I said, this wasn't really a horror movie in particular.
Did it scare you?
No. The gore and blood doesn't scare me. Or anything. Even there wasn't
it doesn't like get me either. It has to be like David Cronenberg, who almost directed this movie, and we're gonna do The Fly next month, which is his movie.
Yes,
like that kind of gore really creeps me out because it's body horror. It's like very visceral, like
great,
doing gross stuff with your body and stuff, and that scares me. But yeah, just like a lot of blood doesn't scare me. And there's really, I was never like a little bit when he's chasing what's her name through the apartment.
Yeah, that I hated, well, because it's like because you know he's there and she's not opening the right doors. Like
the apartment's suddenly massive.
Yes. I hated that.
And then it's not really like horror, but there's a lot of tension when his
Yeah.
secretary's in his house.
Oh, yeah. No.
But yeah, other than that, this movie's way funnier than it is scary.
Yeah, I agree. It's Christy, don't get back in the freaking car. But yeah, it's. I thought it was hilarious that he put sneakers on to chase her down the hall.
I know, right?
Nothing else.
It's so funny.
Apparently, Christian Bale would just he wouldn't, in between takes, he wouldn't put anything else on, so he just had a sock on his dick and was just in the sneakers, just hanging around. Christian Bale doing Christian Bale things, I suppose, or Patrick Bateman thing. I don't know. But yeah, no, definitely. I think jump scares get me more, and that tension of knowing. Duh, he's there. I hated that, but you can hit someone with an axe however many times, and I'm not gonna particularly fazed with it.
And I read that apparently Mary Herron isn't a fan of horror movies and didn't really want to do horror.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm not scared by the idea of serial killers. I know people are really fascinated with that stuff and scared by it, but when I'm watching a movie, if it's gonna be a movie that scares me, it kind of has to be something that's not just a thing that's in the real world right. That.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not particularly scared with serial killer. Family nights, Friday night family nights in my house are watching 2020 or Dateline as a family. We get our snacks going. It doesn't, at this point, it hasn't fazed me. I think the biggest one was when I read Silence of the Lambs. Hannibal Lecter scared me, and he's not even real. But, yeah, it's, they'd be out there. Allegedly. I don't go outside.
The movie is just full of memes.
It is every time.
New ones keep popping up too. I don't know if you've noticed, but very recently the why not, you stupid bastard. Yes. That's become a meme lately, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's different sound things. I've heard, particularly on TikTok, I've heard 3 or 4 different lines through TikTok trends and
yeah.
Different.
This movie's big on TikTok because
kids love
it's
TikTok.
Really funny.
It is.
I remember one of the really old memes I can remember is Patrick pointing at the stereo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a classic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that scene in particular has a lot of. I feel like I've seen that scene so many times before I've even watched the movie, just from the different GIFs and memes that have come out of it, which is sort of a morbid thing to make memes out of, but But yeah, do you have any final thoughts on American Psycho?
Like I said, it's more interesting than it is good. I think this movie, the best thing about it is Christian Bale just fucking acting his ass off in this movie.
Truly.
The ending confused the shit out of me. I'm gonna be honest. I have no fucking idea what was going on or why anything was happening. He goes and he breaks up with Reese Witherspoon.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why that scene's in the movie. It didn't feel like it added anything at all. Again, I feel like I gotta read more about what's going on in this movie and specifically why stuff like that was chosen to be put in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it means something. The writer of the movie's in the movie.
Yeah, she gets killed.
Yeah, she's the redhead who he kills towards the end of the movie. And then, like, what the fuck is with the scene of the secretary finding his planner and it's full of...
Nothing happens with it.
What's up with that?
Like there's
why does
no
that happen?
repercussions. Like, she doesn't tell any. Well, allegedly, I mean, we don't see her, but she doesn't tell anyone. It just ends with that. Like, that's that, I guess.
Like, is it supposed to be that she's finding out that Patrick isn't who she thought he was because she was into him?
Mm-hmm. Like, she's the one person who knows.
Yeah, and then like I know the scene goes a lot differently in the novel, but it's still like the same idea, which is that he's like, he doesn't kill her. Like, he tells her to leave because he decides that he doesn't want to kill her. Why? What's that about? Why is that happening?
That's yeah, that one was weird.
I don't...
I mean, the lawyer just doesn't... I didn't understand the whole the thing at the end where the lawyer didn't believe in the confession and then they're watching Reagan. I don't know. I read the Wikipedia.
I get the Reagan stuff, right? The Reagan stuff's pretty obvious, right? Because they're talking about Reagan pretends to be this one thing, but he's actually... That makes sense, yeah. That's like summing up the entire movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, it's in summing it up in two ways, right? One, the Patrick Bateman facade is this thing that has something sinister underneath it, but also, like, you could also make a much more literal, like, he is literally Ronald Reagan's America in a person, and he's doing all these terrible things. The lawyer thing is, one, it's to reinforce that nobody can fucking remember who Patrick Bateman is. Even his own lawyer, just, he's like the most totally forgettable person in the world. It's also supposed to like raise the question of like whether or not everything actually happened or not.
Yeah, freaking Paul Allen.
Whether or not he killed Paul Allen, or is it that, like everybody else, because he can't remember who Patrick Bateman is, can the lawyer also not remember who Paul Allen is? The very first scene of the movie is somebody not knowing who Paul Allen is. They confuse him with somebody else. So did the lawyer have dinner with somebody completely different and just think that they were Paul Allen the entire time?
So many questions. I don't know. But yes, American Psycho.
Yeah, it's
a movie.
Yeah, it's definitely got stuff to say, and that's nice.
Yeah,
there are movies that don't.
They are.
It's far from the worst movie we've reviewed on here.
That is very true. That is true. It's a very yeah. Yeah. But I think that might wrap up Film Bro Month.
Yeah.
Woo.
So on the Memento episode, I said I thought Memento might be the worst movie that we review for this month. So it was American Psycho, it turns out.
It was American Psycho. We had high hopes for American Psycho.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't seen it since high school. I remember thinking it was really neat when I watched it back then. And I mean, it's, it doesn't have like the best reviews in the world to be like when so it's what, 69% on Rotten Tomatoes. Nice. Yeah, an average of 6.3 out of 10. It's good. It's fine. Definitely didn't love it.
No.
I'll probably never watch this movie again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I would ever seek it out. I highly doubt it's played on television, but
I mean, like HBO or something, right?
HBO,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, it's never gonna get paid. Like, how can you edit this down for network TV? It would, somebody would have to like complete, like, I would need to like read an essay or somebody present something to me that like really reframes how I think about the movie for me to watch it again. But I honestly, like, I think I got it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm good.
Like, it's got a lot to say, but it doesn't say it like that well or in a way profound enough for me to be like, wow, that really got me. It's just like, yeah, like 2 scenes into it, like I got the point of the movie. And it was just more of that from then on.
Yeah, I don't know. It got a little repetitive, especially
Yeah,
with,
and like there's no plot or anything.
no, yeah. There's
Yeah,
that. That's the other
there's
thing.
no drama, there's no tension or anything. It's just a
Yeah.
bunch of scenes of the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
And
Yeah.
I generally speaking am not somebody who is like a structuralist. Like I like a movie that will occasionally just be like, yeah, fuck doing a plot or whatever. We're just
Right.
gonna vibe out for a while. But that's also not really what this movie does. It's just a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think those kinds of movies where there's no plot, better for fun movies.
Yeah, like we did Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction doesn't
Yeah.
really have a plot. It's got like a bunch of mini stories in it and stuff.
Right.
That was pretty fun.
That was fun. Speaking of, how would you rate the 4, if the 1 through 4, put the 4 movies we did in Film Bro?
Okay, it was The Aviator, right? I was having trouble remembering what the fourth one was. So
Yeah,
I
I
would
gotta pull
go
up.
Pulp Fiction number 1.
Yep.
Aviator really kind of fell for me this time around when we reviewed it. So I would probably go Pulp Fiction, Memento, Aviator, American Psycho.
I think mine is the exact same order, which is the order that we did them in as well.
Yeah. The month kind of just sloped downward. No, we did The Aviator last week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a we get
It's a roller coaster, everyone.
Yeah.
You know.
okay, so yeah.
Yeah. We got another theme month coming.
Yeah, we're gonna get spooky.
Spooky. You know, we're good at spooky things. Ooh.
Yeah, we're gonna start off. This one's barely a horror movie, and like honestly, like I wouldn't call it a horror movie. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you asked me to put this into a genre, I probably wouldn't call it a horror movie.
What would you call it? No, I'm curious.
Black comedy, I guess.
It's good. Yeah.
It's way more comedic than anything else. Like I mostly laughed during this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Film Bro. When we do horror spooky month, Shocktober, whatever you want to cover. We're gonna start it off with a movie that is definitely a horror movie, but probably won't scare us. Next week we're doing Hausu or House, the Japanese horror film that is fucking wild. Cannot wait to watch House again.
Very excited. Yeah, I'm.
Makenna, what if I told you that the soundtrack to House is mostly a cat meowing?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh, I love cats. I'm in. It's spooky.
It will be spooky. It will be from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. It gets progressively spookier. But I bet you don't get very scared by that movie.
Okay.
Then what else are we doing for spooky month?
The Blair Witch Project, The Exorcist,
That's got some
and
spook 'em ups
The
in 'em.
Fly. The Exorcist and The Fly.
Okay. Yeah. Though I don't know how scared you will be. The Fly's mostly, like I think I've said, The Fly's mostly gross.
Yeah.
It's a gross film.
Yippee.
Yeah.
I'm nervous for the Blair Witch Project. I think I'm the most scared for The Exorcist.
Okay, that's interesting. Cause like I don't think The Exorcist is that scary.
Is The Exorcist, so you know that thing that went around, like, I think I was in middle school, like, so maybe 2015, 2013, where you did, like, it was a thing, like, you sent your friends, where it's like you did a race and then it jump scared you, it flashed an image of, like,
Yeah.
is that from The Exorcist?
It's the girl from The X. That doesn't happen in the movie.
Okay. Oh, thank God.
No, there's no like jump scares in The Exorcist from what I can remember. It's
good.
just like I do think it's scary.
Yeah.
But it's a movie that like the film, like the effects and stuff haven't exactly, held up. It's a movie that when you watch it now, you're like, okay, yeah, it's a girl with makeup on her face. It's not
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I bet the scariest movie for you will be The Blair Witch Project.
Okay.
I think that's the scariest of the four.
Okay. I will when I watch these. I will first off. I will be watching these during the day.
We ranked these at the end. I think we'll do at the end of Spooky Month. We'll rank the movies, but then also we will rank them by scariness.
Scariness. Okay. I will first be watching these at least The Blair Witch Project and The Exorcist during the day. I will also make sure I do these a day before we record, because I fully intend, if I wake up from a nightmare, I will be texting you in the middle of the night. My nightmare count. So yeah, so you got a lot to look forward to.
Are you worried you're not going to be able to make it through any of these movies? Or are you
no? No,
you'll make it through no matter what. Okay,
I will make it through no matter what. If I do anything in life, I am committed to the bit.
Okay, because I was gonna say I had an idea that maybe if you couldn't make it through like The Exorcist or whatever, we review the movie up to the point you watched it. I finish the review and then you review like an episode of Monk or something.
Well, we haven't gotten through Spooky Month yet, so that might be it. The only, and I've probably said it a million times at this point, I've seen 3 scary movies, horror movies in my life. Quiet Place, The Shining, and Silence of the Lambs. So I avoid everything at all costs. I am afraid of my own shadow. So this might be the first time I don't finish a movie.
These are far from the scariest movies that I could imagine us doing.
Okay.
Like, I bet The Thing would probably scare you more than any of these. See, The Thing's got some stuff in it that's like really fucking. Like, do you know anything about The Thing?
No, I don't.
So the thing is about like an alien that like it eats people and then it like makes copies of them. But then it's also like a really fucked up alien when it it'll be a person and then it will turn into like a monster of that person. And there's a part where somebody's dying and they don't know that it's one of the things. So they go to do the defibrillator on the guy and they put it in and the chest opens up and eats the guy.
That's from that. I've seen that before.
Yeah, that's The Thing.
Fucked me up.
Yeah, The Thing fucking rules, man. That movie's so good.
I thought that was from Alien.
No, that's The Thing. I wish we were doing The Thing this month, but it's not on HBO Max. The Thing is one of my favorite movies. That movie fucking rules. Scary as shit in parts too.
Oh no, I'm happy we're not doing it.
You saw Mulholland Drive. Mulholland Drive technically fits into the horror category.
That's true. I've seen 4. Count them 4. I had to watch it for a class. I will say I am forever in debt to you because you told me about the particular part in the beginning. I still have no idea what it looks like.
You see it at the end of the movie too, though.
Do you? I don't remember. I must have blocked it out. Maybe. Oh, I don't remember.
At the end of the movie, when they go behind the gas station, there's the I can't remember what they call the person in the movie. There's a name, but she's got the box and she drops the box, and then the little old people come out of the box and they run around. Do you not remember this from the movie?
No.
Yeah, the old people, the little old people come out of the bag with the box, and then they go to her house, and then the little old people turn into big old people and they chase her around like ah. No, you don't remember this? Oh my god, do we need to watch Mulholland Drive again for this? We might have to
rewatch Mulholland Drive.
Movie's fucking awesome.
It's been a year now since I've seen it. I was mainly confused during most of that movie, so that might be why I don't remember.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. I remember there's a box and there's a car accident maybe on Mulholland Drive.
Yep.
That's about all I got.
I can't believe you forgot about the tiny old people running around. I feel like that's one of the lasting visuals you get from that movie.
I don't remember it. We might have to rewatch Mulholland Drive just for the tiny old people.
Fucking love that movie.
I will not be. I will still be closing my eyes whenever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on like what kind of stuff scares you. Will sort of vary depending on how like scary these movies are. I bet Blair Witch scares you the most, even though that's the movie where probably the least amount of stuff happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember like growing up and watching, I think, the trailer on YouTube, and it scared me. But I also haven't seen it since then, and I was also maybe 12 or 13. But, yeah. I don't know. Okay, yeah, no.
But you look up the little old people, or?
No, I did look up. I'll look up the little old people. Let me look up the little old people.
What? So of the scary movies that you've seen, which ones scare? Like, did any of them scare you? Like, you get some spook 'em ups from any of them?
Maybe Silence of the Lambs, just because of how well Anthony Hopkins played Hannibal Lecter and how off-putting it was. Also just how it's shot, where like he's looking like when you're talking,
there's like
looking right at you,
direct to camera. Yeah.
Like I do remember I did have a nightmare here that he was standing in like this is like a little alcove, like it goes, you can't see the door from when you're laying in bed, and also I can't see without my contacts or glasses, and I definitely had a nightmare of him standing in the corner. But other than that, like The Shining, I had a nightmare when I was reading the book, but not with I was just mad the entire time when I was watching The Shining.
I think there's legit only one scary scene in the entire Shining, and that movie's fucking long as hell.
Yeah, oh god.
It's like at the very end when Shelley Duvall's like running through the house and you see all the stuff that's in the doors. Like that's gets creepy.
Yeah.
There's that one dude in the fucking pig mask or whatever. That
oh yeah, weird. I also didn't like in the bathtub, the decaying old woman.
Yeah, that's gross. And like they do. It is like a jump scare. Like it happens really fast and it kind of scares you. But yeah, I don't think that movie's very scary or good.
Yeah. Quiet Place. I watched The Quiet Place in a projector. My friend invited a few of us over, and we watched her projector in her backyard. So I think that like I wasn't as scared while watching that. I think maybe just like when the worst part in that was when she stepped on the nail and she couldn't scream. That was the worst part. Yeah. Other than that, jump scares I think are what get me the most, and I try to actively avoid that as much as I can. And spiders.
Okay. So yeah, I think mostly the movies we're watching, not a lot of jump scares in them. That's good. Blair Witch has got some. It depends on like what you consider like a jump, because Exorcist 3, we're not doing Exorcist 3, we're doing Exorcist 3 is like the best jump scare of all time. So fucking good.
Oh gosh.
And I don't even know if it's like that scary. It's just perfect. It's like this. You should look it up. It's like for being in a movie, it's like one of the weirdest things that's like they put, because it's like this static shot of a hospital that goes on for like 4 minutes of just this nurse like doing rounds in these rooms, and then she walks out of one room, shuts the door, and like right when she turns around, like the monster or whatever walks out of the door, but like it's not, but you're seeing it in the same wide shot that you saw the entire scene from. It's just like she closes the door and turns around, and then the thing just walks out with the knife. It's so fucking weird.
Oh, no.
It's fucking amazing. It's like the only good part of that movie.
Sounds like something from Scooby-Doo. Gosh. Yeah, the spooky month.
Yeah, spooky month.
I'm forever, every time I go on Twitter in the month of October, I'm always scared that something's gonna pop up.
Shocktober.
Shocktober. People love Halloween. Well, oh no. Oh, do you want? Okay, I'm gonna.
I almost put funny games on this list.
Funny games.
Funny games. Yeah. It's probably best I didn't put funny games on there. That's not an enjoyable film.
How is it? I'm curious now. Is it like super scary or is it what?
It is depends how you view being scared. I think it's one of the scariest movies ever made. A lot of people don't think so.
Oh gosh.
It is like it is intentionally built to be a movie that is like you're not supposed to enjoy watching it at all.
Oh no.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna put you through funny games.
Thank you.
But I quite like that movie, even though I'm not supposed to. I think it's a brilliant work of art, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, you sort of know my how jumpy I am, just from playing Fortnite, and somebody will throw something at me and I jump. So yeah, it's going to be. I us talking about this. I think I know one of the things I can trace back to why I am so jumpy. Let me take you back to Halloween as a child. Trick or treat in particular. There was. I don't live in a big neighborhood, but there was a house. Loved Halloween. His name was Terry. We called him Scary Terry because when trick-or-treaters would come by, he would jump out at kids. I would burst into tears every single year to a point where we had to, because his house was at the end of the block, we had to start at his house. I made my dad and my sister start at his house when it was still light out and then work our way back. Which, to be fair, in the long run, you're ending at our house, so I don't know why we always didn't just start at his house, but whatever. I think that is one of the reasons why. There's a couple reasons, but this earliest I can think.
I don't do a lot of horror stuff, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I don't like being scared. I don't find it to be an enjoyable experience. I don't watch. I always say like I don't watch a lot of horror movies, and then like when I go through like my favorite movies, a lot of them end up being horror movies. Like I like it when a horror movie is made very, very well. Like it's like just a good movie that is a horror movie. I hate doing like haunted houses and shit. I enjoy Halloween, but I don't like people who like do like scary Halloween. Like I like fun Halloween.
Yeah, no. See, like the one there at the beach we go to every year, there's like a part with rides. The one ride I have not been on is the haunted house. I refuse to go on the haunted house ride. And everyone says, "Oh, that's not that scary." I don't care. I'm not going on it.
I don't like. I'm not like a being scared kind of person.
I don't like being scared. I'm not a fan. It's not.
Like I like horror that is like doing interesting thing with scary ideas.
Yes.
More than it is like it's like a guy with like an axe jumping at you. Like that's not fun. That's
no, I don't want to. I don't mind. I'll read about different, like I said, we freaking watch Dateline every week as a family when I'm at home. Like, I don't mind that stuff. I don't, because I'm not being jump scared. I'm not, but no, it'd be like that. And
yeah, I did my best to pick movies that I thought you might enjoy and probably wouldn't scare you too much. HBO Max does not have. I will say that like, obviously HBO Max is going away eventually, and like since it's been bought by Discovery, it's really gone downhill. But I've always thought that HBO Max was one of the best streaming platforms. Like I think they had like the best selection of stuff to watch. Horror movie wise, not that much. Like they've got all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, which like I thought about doing one of those for this, but like the first one's okay. The best one's the third one, and we're not just gonna jump into Dream Warriors, just the third Nightmare on Elm Street movie, just in the middle of spooky month. And then like they got Ouija, but they don't have Ouija 2, which is the good one. They don't have a lot of fun horror movies, but they do have House, which is
They have
awesome.
House.
So yeah,
So, yeah.
I'm excited to watch House next week.
Woo! I'm excited. I'm ready to jump in and be spooked. Where can people find you?
They can find me at Jose Ruckus on the Instagram and the Twitter and all that stuff. And they can find podcasts that I do on the Jose Ruckus Podcast Network, like Pop Cultural Studies, like Bring the Ruckus. Good shows, all of them, I swear.
2 thumbs up. Yes, very good. You can find me on Twitter at PotterPants212. There's a link in my bio. For other places you can find me, like Simply Sassy. We just had a interview go up with Luke Ryder from the band Avoid. It's almost 3 hours, and it's fascinating because he really just talks about bands and going on tour.
Avoid or a void?
Avoid, like the verb.
Okay.
Yes, it's incredibly entertaining. He's just telling stories the whole time, and I forgot I was on the podcast just because I was listening to him just talk about like just tour life and being in a band and making music and stuff. Highly recommend it. I also tell a story about being in Iceland, so if you're gonna watch it for me.
The Puffin story.
The Puffin story, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Go listen to this. You got to listen to the Puffin story.
They told me to tell a story, and I told them my 17 hours in Iceland.
Yeah.
But yes, go check out Simply Sassy. Go check out HBO Max on Twitter, HBO Maks. Follow us on Twitter and YouTube. Go subscribe and ring the bell and comment. What should they comment this week?
Oh, tell me what your favorite Huey Lewis in the News song is.
Ooh. What if my favorite Huey Lewis in the News song is a Weird Al Yankovic parody?
What is that?
I Want a New Duck. Which is...
I don't think I've heard that one.
It's very good. We're a duck household, and sometimes Ricky is an asshole. So, but we love our ducks, don't worry. Yes, Huey Lewis in the News, Back to the Future.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like Power of Love.
Yeah,
a good
that's
song.
A classic. It's a good one.
Hip to Be Square.
Hip to Be
also very good. Hip to Be Square has been stuck in my head all day because of this movie. So,
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, me too. No, it's as well as Invisible Touch.
That song fucking rules.
It's so good. It's so good. But yes, go do all the things. Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Go follow and rate and comment and subscribe and the notification bell. Thank you. Yeah. But yes, thank you for watching. Don't kill anyone.
Solid endorsement.
I try.